Today's taste test is Aliens Fireteam Elite. And you know what? I swear it used to just be Aliens Fireteam at some point. And I don't know when or why they upgraded the Fireteam to this Elite status. But I can assure you it's definitely not based on the gameplay that you're going to see while I talk about it. Aliens Fireteam Elite is one of many co-op squad-based shooters. This one happens to be third person over the shoulder with a kind of Gears of War control scheme. But it's very much to the same formula that we've seen many times since Left 4 Dead, where you and a couple of friends run through the environment getting swarmed by, in this case obviously, aliens, and you shoot them all. And then you go further to the next objective and you shoot more aliens, and then you go on and you shoot more aliens, and they appear through the vents, through the walls, in front of you, behind you, all over the place. And that's kind of what the game is and kind of what you'd expect for it. It's actually it's a little subgenre that does very, very well out of Xbox Game Pass, because like Back 4 Blood, like Warhammer Vermintide, they're the kind of game that would be kind of medium tier. You'd be unsure whether to buy it or not buy it, and the fact that you need to get your friends to buy it as well to have any fun makes them a kind of difficult ask. And Aliens Fireteam Elite actually came out at about the same time as Back 4 Blood, and whereas Back 4 Blood went into Game Pass, Fireteam Elite did not, and it landed with a bit of a whimper. A couple of months later, here it is on Game Pass, so it's right there, it's ready. You can very easily convince your friends that have Game Pass to just jump into a session with you, unless they're really stubborn. I don't know your friends, your friends might just not actually be your friends, but typically it's easier than having to convince people to go and buy a game that you want to play. So Aliens Fireteam Elite is perfectly poised for you to just jump in, have a blast and see what it's all about. Alright, so if it's not clear, it's based on the Aliens movie franchise, and I'm not particularly a connoisseur of the Aliens films, but my recollection of them, first Aliens film was properly tense. There's an alien of devastating power just toying with the crew of a spaceship. The second Aliens film is a bit more high octane. It's often considered to be the best one of the movie series. There's a lot more aliens, a lot more going on, a lot more action, but it's still all sorts of tense. The aliens are scary. And then the third film, we'll try and dismiss the third film. As far as I can recall, you got a bunch of people sitting in a prison cell swearing for an hour, but the point being the aliens are still tense. There's some more alien films of the kind of cash grab variety, but I'm not really here to talk about the films and talk about the games. And the reason that I mention those films being so tense is the alien games based on these films have a bit of a history as well. So Colonial Marines went high octane and was a bit of a disaster, but Alien Isolation was considered a pretty brilliant horror game that just has the one alien stalking you through the game, and it's massively tense. And it just seems generally that's a key component to an Aliens game being good. So Aliens Fireteam Elite does not have that. I can say outright, first and foremost, the aliens in this game are not scary. There are so many of them, and they're so squishy and so easy to pop, and they do so little damage to your weird contingent of Fireteam agents. I'm going to call them agents, squad members, your Fireteam squad members, the elite ones, so there's that. The game does not feature tension in any way whatsoever, even less so than its cohorts like your Back 4 Bloods and Left 4 Dead. That's not to say that the game is awful or anything like that. It's just setting expectations that what you're getting here is an action game, not a horror game. Unless you're playing with me and you stand near red barrels, then you should probably be slightly scared.
Oh, Asa, I swear to God, you blow one more barrel up. Was that you who blew it up?
What?
Oh, you fucker, honestly. Oh. That's it.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the basics of the game. When you fire it up, you're greeted with a character creation screen. It's pretty rudimentary. There's a selection of, 16 faces, a handful of haircuts. Not too much that you can really customize if you are the kind of person that likes to try and make yourself or make something really specific in a character creator. This ain't it. You're just going to spend a couple of minutes going through some presets, and then you jump into the game, or into the open lobby area of the game. I have already mentioned that it's a co-op shooter, and I've mentioned various other games, your Left 4 Dead, Back 4 Blood, Vermintide, things like that. If you're not familiar with those games, then you should know they really don't hold up as single player games. They're designed for co-op. If you are playing on your own because you hate people, or you couldn't convince them to buy these games, or they don't have Game Pass, or whatever else, if you're playing on your own, your friends will be substituted with robots, which might not sound too bad, but they're not brilliant robots. Don't play it alone. It's not really worth it. But if you have convinced your friends to get on there, then the fun can begin. So you can invite them into a lobby fairly easily. The interface for actually launching a mission and getting things done can be a little counterintuitive. You've got to speak to the right people on the ship. You've got a strange queuing system. There were a couple of times when we were just stuck wondering how to actually kick off into a mission, but that's just us being silly. It's not too bad. You'll get into it. So you jump into a mission. The structure of the game is linear as far as I can tell. So when you are jumping into a mission, it is a sequenced campaign. You can't pick a selection of locations or missions or anything like that, at least at the beginning. But what you do get to choose is your class. The game features 5 different classes that have, is it 5 or is it 6? I don't know. It features 5 or 6 different classes. Gunner, doctor, technician, something or other. They have different abilities. Some of them offensive, some of them more support based. So in most of the footage on the screen, I was playing as a doctor, so a medic. My abilities were a stim to, I don't actually know what the stim did. It made a little green gun icon appear. It probably made my teammates shoot faster or something like that. But I also had a little med station that I could put down to heal people up, which was pretty useful. The gunner class had a grenade and a strange smoke bomb thing. So there's classes. The classes also have, between missions, there's a merchant. So you upgrade, you buy weapons and consumables. That's kind of the meta progression system in the game. But anyway, realistically, before you jump into your first mission, the prologue, you've probably had a good look at the character models, at the graphics of the game, and you're probably already thinking, it's okay. The whole thing looks fairly dated. It definitely looks like a previous generation kind of game. The character models are adequate, I guess. The environments are, they fit the Alien series, but they're not going to blow you away by any stretch. And you'll probably notice that the guns sound terrible, but I've been assured that the guns sound terrible in the movies, so it's true to life in that sense. But yeah, I'm not going to talk too much about the way that it looks, because if you use your eyes, you can see it on screen right now. That's what the game looks like. So after playing around with the dud guns and things like that, you can jump into your first mission, the prologue, I guess. We only got through a couple of missions playing this game in the time that I played it, and I will say that it was repetitive. It's literally you go down space corridors, you shoot aliens, you go down more space corridors, you shoot aliens. There is a bit of a story going on, mostly delivered through your voice comms. There's a lovely alien called Monica, I don't know, doing alien things, which is mostly trying to kill you. Gameplay wise, I'd say it's a pretty competent shooter. It's like I say, it's third person, it's over the shoulder. You can take cover behind things you take cover behind. I don't know, there wasn't actually that much to take cover behind in the game, actually, thinking back on it, but lots of running around, lots of shooting, lots of using your abilities. The aliens have some variety, more than you'd expect from the Aliens films. There's strange ones with glowing heads that explode that I really don't remember from the films at all. But like I said earlier, there's typically no tension. The aliens are not scary. Most of them die very quickly, and the acid blood that they're so notorious for is it's not a concern at all. You can have an alien on top of you, it can get blown up, and you're absolutely fine. The kind of core characteristics of the aliens are not really felt, but from there it's fairly typical fare for one of these co-op games. So like I say, you're going down corridors, you're fighting the enemies, you get in waves of them. Every now and again you'll find an objective where perhaps one person has to turn a valve or something like that, or you have to guard a door until it's ready to open, or like I say, this Monica alien's running around and you need to have a friendly conversation. And then it honestly, it usually kind of culminated in a more difficult section at the end of the level where we died because the Darge Knight wasn't pulling his weight. That's definitely what happened. And at that point of failure, you're thrown back to the ship to try again. And at that point I realised actually the levels are quite long for how repetitive they are and how much they spike in difficulty at the end. So we did get to a point where actually we didn't fancy jumping into the level again. That's not to say that it's massively difficult. I'm sure if you play it, you'll get through because, you know, you don't have Darge dragging you down. I'm joking, Darge, you did just fine. And yeah, I think that kind of sums up my initial impressions in response to Aliens Fireteam Elite. Would I say that you should play it? For sure, it's not top of the list. There's a bunch of games on Game Pass that offer co-op shenanigans. So obviously you've got things like It Takes Two if you've got a friend that are absolutely brilliant, but there's also a ton of games of this ilk. So you've got Back 4 Blood, you've got Vermintide, you've got, I can't remember what it's called, there's a Dungeons and Dragons one as well. Those probably pip this one in terms of quality. So yeah, but at some point you're going to exhaust them. You're going to be playing with friends that have all got access to this wonderful catalogue of games, and you might want to give this one a go. It's very easy to jump into, blast some aliens, see if you can explode your friends, and yeah, then you go on and do something else if you get bored. It's one of the joys of Game Pass. Oh, I should also say, you might have noticed I was playing this with a couple of friends and I was doing it live on stream. A lot of the content on this channel is taken from live streams, so if you want to come and check out these impressions live as they happen, then my Twitch channel is also Acer_GameOnDaily. Come along and chat. Those are a good time, I promise. Yeah, please hit that like, hit that subscribe, share this around if you want to. All of it helps. I am trying to grow this channel. I'm putting a lot of content on there. And thanks for watching this one.